this video, we'll be covering some of Jobin.cloud's AI features. In particular, semantic search generators, automated job spec analyzers, and various features that can help you manage your database not only more efficiently, but also more effectively. In this example, I have a database full of contacts in the IT industry. I think the IT industry is a great example because it's fairly common, but also more on the technical side, where you need to know the technical jargon to properly understand and analyze how relevant a contact is. And that's exactly where AI can help us. Let's say I don't perfectly know the technical jargon, but I need to find a good Java developer. So I'll start out by writing the basics that I have for that job requirement. For example, Java and developer. Without having to worry about potential other technical jargon, I can use AI directly on a specific keyword of interest, for example the Java keyword, and I can press on this magnifying glass icon. This will automatically run a semantic search for similar keywords with, well, basically the same semantic value as Java. So it's probably going to give me some other programming languages that, if I didn't know the technical jargon, might have quite some difficulty coming up with. And on top of giving me all these semantically similar keywords for the Java keyword in this case, it also helps me save time, because even if I was already an expert in the IT industry, it's still going to take me some time to write everything down. And in addition to this, I can of course also customize it, so I can actually focus on the aspects that interest me the most. So I could say, well, Java should be mandatory, so I can press on this green plus button saying that this is a must, whereas these others are some extra nice to haves. I could also say that maybe web development is a requirement, or I can give it a higher score, basically a preferential rating, by pressing on the settings icon or on the keyword itself, which will open a bit more of an advanced menu where I can add some extra details, like for example, if it's fine if they were also a web developer in the past. And I can also potentially set a level of importance of how desirable is this specific keyword compared to, well, any of these other keywords I'm running in the search. All the blue keywords are defined as optional, so they're not mandatory, whereas the green keywords, in this case Java, is the only actually mandatory keyword. So if I press accept here, it's going to nicely basically rank the contacts based on who is matching the most of these desired keywords. Of course, if any of these need to be removed, we can also press on the little delete icon. And just like that, all the contacts are automatically being ranked for us. So we can very easily save lots of time, both in running those filters, but also in actually helping us out if we're not that savvy. These filters, as well as generating semantic searches, can be used for any keyword within filters, so I can filter by roles, job descriptions, companies, company sizes, locations, industries, years of experience, and so on, pretty much any field on that profile, including certificates or courses that are necessary for the position. Thanks to that ranking factor, even the more niche types of characteristics, like maybe a certain certificate that oftentimes contacts won't specifically write down on their profile, can be set instead as a desirable factor, so it doesn't limit the number of results we actually end up having, but it's still going to highlight the ones that actually went through the trouble to mention having those required and desired certifications. But let's say that after setting up a nice filter framework, we found the ideal type of contact, and we want to use them as a role model for all our other contacts. All it takes is to select the reference contact, let's say for example Boris here, and with the contact selected, on the action bar at the bottom of the screen, we can further speed up the entire filtering process by running a search similar profiles filter. And this runs a very extensive filter on basically everything that makes Boris Boris. In fact, if I now head over back to the all filters section, we can see that it's automatically and very extensively been compiled for us. And these are all automatically being ranked, so we don't have to worry about the filter becoming too strict. These will instead all be accordingly ranked. So the closer they are in similarity to Boris, then the higher they will be positioned in the ranking. Automatically Boris is the top result because, well, it's him. But the next result, in this case Yuri for example, has automatically been identified for us, and all it took was, well, pressing one button. And once again, we can of course also modify and customize these filters. So if certain characteristics should be mandatory, like for example, they have to be in London or they have to have certain experiences in larger companies, then we can also customize this or also remove any keywords that we don't deem as important, as well as set higher multipliers on the ones that are more desirable. These two automated filtration systems aside, we can also directly ask AI to run and generate a search for us in a more human fashion, where we can directly use the GPT search here at the top left and type out the requirements we want as part of a sentence. So I could say Java developers in Dublin and press search. This is now going to generate automatically a nice filter framework for me to start off with, and basically saves me some time from having to start from scratch for each search. And just like that, a nice filter framework has been generated for us. And once again, if I open the All Filters menu, we can see a bit more in depth exactly all those keywords that have been added for us. And of course, we can customize them accordingly. Once we've customized that filter, and this goes for any filter we're running, if we want to reuse it for future occasions, we can also at any time press the Save As button, and that's going to save the entire filter for us. And we can at any time then load it in again from the load button that we can also find here at the top left. With all these filters in mind, we can also define an actual filter framework for a specific job. Say for example, with this example job, as the name goes, we can set this as a Java developer role. With that said, we can then, from the Set Ideal Candidate Criteria section, directly apply a filter framework for us. So rather than having to load the filter each time, it's going to automatically be run for us, and it's going to automatically screen those contacts for us whenever we select this specific project pipeline. But besides pressing the load button to load in one of those filter templates, we can have it analyze the job description that we assign to the job. So first of all, we're going to want to, actually add that job description to it. I'll just quickly go and grab a job description that I'll pull from LinkedIn. So I can add the company description, the activity and role description here, and I guess we don't need to bother too much with these other specific forms. I can just clear those out. With the job description now defined, we can head over also directly from the bar here at the bottom. Just by scrolling down here to the bottom, we can also once again find the Set Ideal Candidate Criteria button. And from here, all it takes is to press the Analyze Job Description button. Once that's done, it's once again automatically generated that filter framework for us. And of course, we can always modify and customize it. So especially in the example I was picking, if I wanted the search to be more broad and instead of just looking for exclusively Java developer, we can also simply press once again that semantic search button to have it also look for semantically similar variations to Java developer keywords. And once again, just like that, I can then press Save as Ideal Candidate. That's going to apply the Ideal Candidate framework for us. And from the operations module here, we can see how that data screening is going. There we have it. It's found 98 potentially fitting contacts for that job. If I head over to that jobs page, without having to run any particular filters, I can actually reset it right away. I can just head over to the job pipelines page, select that Java developer pipeline that I created, and automatically the contacts will be ranked for me. Now I only have 10 contacts in this specific pipeline, but if I press the Not in Pipeline button, we can see all the other contacts in the pipeline. These are lots of not fitting contacts, so I'll only have it show fitting contacts. And just like that, it's going to show me all the various contacts, each with a varying fitting index based on how close they are matching those requirements. And of course, I can also set a minimum requirement. So if 88 results is less too many, I can also include the ones in the pipeline by switching it once again. And I can then, for example, increase the margin to match, say, for example, 10% of all the desired keywords I've defined, which might sound low, but it's relatively speaking a lot because I've added a very extensive list of keywords that I, desirably like to have. So always keep in mind that Ideal Candidate Framework is, an ideal. It's not necessarily going to be realistic, depending on how in-depth or how detailed you make your filter, for a contact to actually be able to achieve that 100% fitting. But of course, you can also sort this automatically by the highest fitting contact you happen to have, so it's also nicely sorted automatically as well. And you can at any time modify that Ideal Candidate Framework. So if any other particular keywords come to mind, you can always easily integrate them into that framework as well. This pretty much concludes how you can very quickly and automatically create extensive filter frameworks that help out in auto screening and finding those best candidates for you. And all it takes is just a few clicks. If you want to learn more about how to import profiles and all the other features and functionalities that Jobin.cloud provides, make sure to check out our other videos.